I learned how to swim in middle school.
So like in elementary school, you didn't swim?
No. I would stay in the shallow end, the 3 feet, and I wouldn't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe! So another really cool thing about Jiovanni is that he has a YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel's name?
It's my name, Giovanni Cintron.
Okay.
With a J.
Okay, awesome. You can find that in the description below. We'll put that in there. Also, you talk about a lot of really cool stuff and sometimes some hard topics on that YouTube channel. A lot of it's focused on apologetics. So sort of what made you decide to start a YouTube channel and start spreading the gospel in this way?
Mm-hmm. So I actually had a YouTube channel already. When I was little, I would try to like do gaming videos, Call of Duty stuff from the iPad.
Okay.
And then it moved to like Minecraft. And then I was like, okay, it's not really helping like anyone. And then that's when I started watching like Christian YouTube videos. They just popped up on my feed. I never really wanted to watch them. And I was like, let me like actually make a YouTube channel on Christianity.
Yeah.
So I could show my friends and parents, because you know, if I show my family members some random guy, they're not going to really like want to click on it.
But it's you.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, let me see what he has to say about this.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And when I was little, I used to go to church. I used to sleep in the main sanctuary on the chairs, had nice naps.
Oh, that's like PK life, baby.
And then, you know, after I got older, I'm like, I really don't like going to church.
Mm.
And then I started having bad friends. You know, I saw people talking bad about Christianity, and even though I wasn't really a Christian, I would get offended, and I didn't know how to answer the question. So that's why when I became a Christian, then I was like, okay, let me actually research my beliefs.
Yeah. And that, I think, probably started that love for apologetics a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So in his bio on Discord, he has like a list of arguments for God's existence and evidence for the resurrection of Christ, which is just super cool. So what do you love and like find so attractive about apologetics? What's so great about it?
I just like that you could correct, like in a nice way, people's wrong beliefs that are like common, you know?
Yeah.
Just like people saying wrong stuff. And it's just so they can know the truth, so they could be saved. Like, if that's a stumbling block, like whatever question they have, I could just try to answer it and then see if they make their own decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So like whenever you're talking about apologetics, for example, in school to someone who perhaps isn't a super strong believer or isn't sure of what they believe exactly or is a complete like atheist, how do you like approach some of these issues? Because some of it's hard to say.
Yeah, definitely. So like I go up to them, and if I know them, then I start talking about like random stuff, you know, lighthearted, like, hey,
sports, the weather.
Yeah, random stuff.
Yeah.
But if I don't know them, I say, hey, I've been asking a lot of kids this, like, what is your opinion on the afterlife? So you get a question, so then they answer it, and they feel like, you know, their opinion is being heard.
Yeah.
And then with listening, then you could actually like tackle their beliefs.
So then your goal isn't like, because I've seen some people try to do this where they're like, hey, believe what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, if you tackle it like that, then you're not coming at it like that at all. You're trying to hear before you're heard, right?
Yeah.
To listen, to understand, and to see where people come from. And I've heard interesting things. Like I talked to an atheist one time where we got to that subject of the afterlife, and I was like, what do you think like happens when people die? And he was like, maybe reincarnation. And I was like, I thought you were an atheist.
Yeah, like it's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. So what is the where do you study? Like, where do you get your content? Is there like one big resource that you go to that you have, or like what's the?
So yeah, I have books, Christian books, but also just because they're Christian doesn't mean like it's bad, you know?
Right.
Like they have the sightings of the website and sources they use. And then also just YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And like I go in the description to see the sources. So it's not like I'm just watching this one guy say something. I'm like, yep, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then for a lot of it, I'm sure you have to read like plenty of scripture. So like
Yeah.
for the evidence of Christ, you've got to go and see which places the disciples embarrassed themselves when they were writing the gospels and stuff. That's super cool, man. So you've used apologetics in this really interesting medium called YouTube, right? And as a way to evangelize. And I know that you've done some similar things at school. You told me that the other day you were handing out tracts to like teachers and students and things like that, and talking about how that you found the cure, and of course the cure for the disease of sin and all that goes into that. So what like burns in your heart and gets you like going for evangelism? How do you like get up and find the boldness to go do that sort of thing?
I would say the fear of God. It is honestly like
Wow.
knowing that these people are probably going to go to hell, like, because I know that they're not saved. And then knowing in my heart, because I know like there's times where my heart is like pumping. I'm like, yeah, I know that Holy Spirit is telling me to talk to this person.
Yeah.
And I know because I've actually done it, not listening to God, you feel really bad because you disobeyed God. So I would just say, yeah, just knowing where they're heading and listening to God is why.
Yeah. I think that puts some good perspective into, because, we go to school and have like classes full of like up to 30 people, 35 people.
Yeah.
And, how many of those are actually saved? Like actually believe in Jesus, are chasing after him and being obedient to God, and so the mission field's all around us. It's everywhere.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of people that we could talk to.
Yeah. I love it. So what have you found is sort of the most useful little apologetic tidbit in evangelizing? Like, is there one specifically that people are like, oh, okay, and it just sort of clicks with them, and you see a light bulb go off over their head,
So I would say explaining like the law, like why we deserve hell. Because people think, oh, if I don't believe in Jesus, then I'm not saved. Well, it's not that you go to hell because you don't believe in Jesus. It's because you go to hell because of your sin.
Right.
So you show them, like, you ask them, are you a good person? You take them through the 10 Commandments and show them that they're a sinner. And then you could tell them the cure to the disease, which is Jesus. So I'd say that's what I use.
That's really interesting. And that, I think, goes back a little bit to the morality argument, because some people, you'll ask them, are you a good person? They'll be like, yeah, yes, I am. And you'll be like, well, what is good? What is, if you don't believe in God, but you think you're a good person, then how do you know that you're good?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. So do you find it easier to evangelize on YouTube and like make content on YouTube, or in person? Which is like easier for your flesh to sort of get over that hump of boldness? You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely, obviously, way easier on camera because you're not like, talking to anyone face to face. But I think actually doing it in person is the best way to go. Way better.
Why?
Because on camera, you could just voice out your opinions, but, having a personal like talk to someone and relationship with them is way better than just saying, something on the internet and then having some people on a keyboard like say, no, I disagree.
Yeah. I mean, being behind a screen gives everyone all sorts of boldness to say crazy things. And so that's a really good point. Well, if you could give one final push to perhaps anyone that is looking to pursue maybe creating a YouTube channel and being more bold and open with their faith, or maybe they're looking to get into apologetics or evangelism more, what would you say to them?
I would say, like, just do it, because we need more people on the internet to actually just like show their beliefs. Because if it gets on someone's feed accidentally because it was popular or something, that could help someone reach Christ. And don't be discouraged. Just like listen to God is what I would say.
Yeah. So be obedient, listen to God, just do it. In homage to Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Well, I think that all of us can learn something from what you're doing right now, myself included. Being around you and just talking to you, having conversations with you is super humbling for me because, looking back on my high school, I can see moments where I could have evangelized or even, inviting people to church, I think is a form of evangelism, because you're getting them in the door to hear about Christ. And it's just super inspiring and humbling to be around someone like you because you evangelize and you're obedient and you're crushing it, man, and you're still so humble about it. So thank you so much. You're awesome. And thank you for being on the podcast. It is a blast having you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Subscribe!